Good evening. Tonight I figured I'd talk a little bit about Witco. I don't know the history very well, Witco, like the inner workings of when buildings were built or when certain things happened. I know some key events, and I have some stuff here from both my grandfather. He worked at Witco as well as my great grandfather. I'm not sure about my great grandfather, but I think at least those two worked there for many years. I think my grandfather Campbell worked there for nearly 50 some years, 55 years or something like that. It's kind of hard to even think about working that long these days when we change jobs like every 10 years, it seems. But I have some of his stuff from when he worked down there, and I figured I'd kind of just share some of the stuff. And then I also I have some newspaper articles here. I'll talk about these first here real quick. These here, back in the day, Witco had a newsletter, and this is for the whole corporation. So it wasn't only Petroleum; it was also their offices in New York and I forget where else, Bradford. They had plants everywhere, and in these newspaper articles, I'm not going to go through them, point out everything. But what I plan on doing is scanning them and putting them up on a website I'm working on right now. That's going to be connected to all this, all these videos. There are people in here listed for like their years of service in Petroleum, working at Witco. And then there's also retirements, and there's some pictures of people that used to work there with their retirement announcement. I only got about 6 or 8, maybe 6 or 8 of these here, but that'll be something neat that will be coming in the future. They're not that information rich at all. And also, before I get too deep into the rest of this video here, I wanted to put these up here in this video because I don't really have any more information to share on a future video for this at this point. But I got this whole stack of magazines here, and these were all from Penreco refinery in Carson City. So it's a whole different refinery right next door to Witco, and it was called the Penreco filter wash. And these started like in the 1930s and 40s. And I think they only lasted a little bit. They, I think, were made during the World War II. And they are quite intrusive to people's lives. They talk about their vacations and who went on vacation and where they went and who they went with and what they left in their house and what they didn't take with them. Not really, but it has a lot of different information in here. Just for example, right here, it's there's something here about weddings. And surprisingly, I opened it up here right to the page. I thought not that I didn't know this was in here because I haven't read through these myself, but I got these at an auction in Shakora, and it was at the Art and G. Michaels auction, and I was good friends with them. We went to church together in Fairview, and I think that, I'm not sure, he worked there, maybe Art did, he worked at Penreco for a little bit or something, or maybe one of their family members did. But here I opened it up, and here's a wedding. It says weddings, and it talks about Gene Hiles being married to Art Michaels at St. John's Presbyterian Church in Fairview, which is impossible because St. John's is a separate church, and then the Presbyterian Church is another one. So there's some typos in it, but you can get the idea of what we're talking about. And it talks about who all was in here, and I can see all of her sisters and other church members were in here too. So my goal is to get these all scanned and put them up onto my website so people can go on there and look up things. And if anyone is watching this has family members that worked at Penreco back in the 1940s or Witco in the 1980s, I think these are from 1980, all these issues, so from the year 1980, let me know and I'll look through them for you. And if I find anything, I'll send you a picture of what I found. So, moving on here. Oh, another thing too. I got this whole stack of papers here in a whole box for $1 at a local auction, and you might see a box of papers at an auction and you think it's just trash and you want to throw it out, and you don't want to bid on it. But I thought I didn't not even see these when I bought the box. I just bought it because I think my wife wanted something out of the box. And at the very bottom, all these magazines were there, and this is a treasure trove for local history, and I'm glad I found it. So always take a little bit of a risk at an auction, I guess. This next thing here I'm going to show you, I apologize about the quality here, but this here was a scrapbook that my great-grandfather had. And he has a lot of other things in this book, but he has some stuff from Witco in it. And later on I'm going to do a slideshow of some old photos from 1920 and 1930 from the plant. And some of these he put in the scrapbook, and I'll just show them here. I'm not sure if you can see them very clearly, and I'm not even sure if I scan them the way they are right now. This picture here is a pretty neat one. I might try to scan this. I think I actually do have a copy of it scanned, but my great-grandfather's there in the back there, Ralph Campbell. And I think that I have another copy of this picture, and I think it's all, I have all the names somewhere. So if I find that, I'll share that as well. There's also this picture he has in here. This is Dr. I believe this is Dr. Sunnyborn. I'm not really sure. I'm 98% sure it's Dr. Sunnyborn. And I had another picture that went with it. I don't know where it went, but that was probably from 1920s or 30s as well. And he used to live in a house. There was a plant house at Witco still. They're on both sides of the reservoir going to Fairview, going out Petroleum. And the very large house going out of Petroleum up on the right, there's a big white house that sits up on the hill. It kind of has a circular driveway in front of it. That's where he stayed when he came to Petroleum. Here's a couple more pictures. I've shown this picture here before in an earlier video. This is a copy of it. And then down here, this one here has my great-grandfather in it as well there. And I'm not very good at picking out people in these. I can make some comparisons of other people that are labeled in the other photos, but save that for another time. And I think this is another one here. I do think some of these are repeats of what I have over there, so you might see these same photos later with the names written on the back of them. And if you know anyone in these photos, or you can identify who's in them, let me know, and I'll come meet you someday. We can go over them and you can help me out. The next part of this video here, I'm just going to show a slideshow. It's going to be the photos I just showed you there of the plant, and the ones with the names in the back. I'm going to try to label it so you can pick out who's who in each photo. I'm not going to talk any more behind them. You can just take your time looking at the photos, and if you see anything, let me know and comment, and continue the conversation on Facebook or YouTube. Also, thank you for watching this video, and please like and subscribe, and see you at the next video.